Yes, sir, we promised you a great main event here tonight.
Andres, the China.
WrestleMania! Hulkamania is running wild.
My God, what a run!
If not, the world is watching.
You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick this sorry ass out on the street. What you got? You used to think you owned the street. Well, pack your bags and your ass is dead meat.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Lowdown Show, episode 108, right here on No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, your Canadian wrestling podcast that talks about the WWE and NXT, and no holds barred on anything we say, pun intended. I am your host, as always, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I'm always joined by my two co-hosts right here on the show. Number one, he is the host that runs the West Coast. He is Hollywood Michael Chow.
Hello, I am so happy to announce this all-male podcast, the first one ever, called Revolution. Wow.
Wow, Revolution. And
yeah, it's like Evolution, but with an R, so it's the male version. Sorry.
And also we have that one guy that loves the main roster for whatever reason. Brian, what's going on, Brian?
Hey guys, coming to you from Finn's Funhouse. Hope you guys are having a great afternoon.
Finn's
Can't wait to talk some A show, Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, I thought you were talking about NXT, because I was confused. I'm not sure why the A show is Raw and SmackDown, especially after this week, but that's okay. We'll get into that. Anyways, guys, as always, welcome to the Lowdown Shows, where we talk about the WWE, we talk about NXT, and we read your fan tweets, which we will at the end of the show, which we have a lot of fan tweets this week, and one in particular that I promised I would read, because he said he will disown us if I don't read it. And I will read it first today when we get to the fan tweets, so that's all right. But we do your fan tweets at the end of the show. Guys, you can listen to us on all platforms, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Spreaker. Speaking of iTunes, guys, go leave us a 5-star rating on there. And if you leave a comment, we will send you a nice gift from us at No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. We are working on it. It is a thing of beauty, so you're going to want to leave us a comment, and we will get to all of you that leaves us a beautiful 5-star rating and a comment on iTunes. Spreaker is a glorious podcast app. If you're listening to us right now on Spreaker, it allows us to do live shows. You can chat with us in the chat on Spreaker when we are doing it live, and you can listen to all previous episodes of the podcast right there on Spreaker as well. If you're a YouTube kind of person, go check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/NHBWR. Make sure you hit the bell icon and the subscribe button for all inbox notifications. So, this week we had the big announcement of we all thought it was supposed to be the women's tag team titles, and there was that picture that was like circulating around, and it looked kind of legit, which we were making fun of it because God, did it ever look horrendous. I was not a fan.
Anything WWE does, I like it. I loved it.
How did you love those belts? They look like
you, sir, are
crap.
sexist. You are sexist. You don't like the women's belt. You are sexist.
What do you mean? For one, they did the white stripe, the white strap. They really needed to do that. Why couldn't they just keep it black? What was wrong with regular black stripe? They have to do it white because the other title belts are white strapped? They have to stand out. Two, they tried so hard to copy the main tag team title belts, and it just looks awful. There's like this weird looking face on it. We don't even know if these are legit, because this could be just a fake picture getting swerved around. So we don't even know if they're legit. But that's what we thought the big announcement was. Not what it was, actually. It was an all-women's pay-per-view, which was kind of something that people thought was going to happen anyways. Was a all-women's pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, that's what opened up Raw. I mean, you want to just jump into that pay-per-view?
Yeah, well, we'll just jump into the... I don't even call it a show anymore. They got another lower ratings dip. Shocker. Big shocker here. Another low ratings dip for Raw. I wonder why. But no, we'll still watch, right? We'll get all the Kool-Aid drinkers out there going, oh, you're still going to watch. I'm just going to put that out there. Clearly we're not, if it's getting the lowest ratings in 25 years. I think we're starting not to watch. I'm just saying.
By the way, I stopped watching. I literally only watch the pay-per-views, but if any of the marks out there want to challenge me and tell me to stop watching overall, I will literally happily stop watching the main roster. I mean, we already have someone who reports on it, so I'll just stick to NXT. Thank you very much.
And it's funny, as much as I enjoy the main roster, it's like my body has this internal clock where it knows that third hour is just gonna be garbage, and I knock out by like 2 minutes into the third hour. I'm out, and I wake up with Roman Reigns getting a pinfall victory. Yeah,
I cannot believe they went that route. I mean, I can believe it because literally that's typical WWE main roster booking right there. They're always going to stay in that formulaic pattern. They're not going to sway away. They're not going to try anything new. Their main focus is on two guys. Whatever else happens to everybody else, who cares? They'll think of an idea and just throw it out there and say, okay, whatever works, let's throw it out there. And it sucks because I honestly sit here and think that they're looking at the demographic extremely wrong. I know the demographic right now is there's more younger audiences watching. But you need to not stop catering to those people fully. You still have the generation that grew up with wrestling that still watches, and they're expecting at least something from their era to be shown on TV and not just cater to the kids and what they like. It's not a children's cartoon on Saturday morning. But that's what they're treating the main roster like half the time. They need to be doing it 50-50, catering to both sides of the audience, which they're not.
Yeah.
One thing I don't
booking though.
One thing I don't understand is, you know what, when they had Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, at least the previous match was a couple of years ago, so it's tolerable. This is the third match we've seen in less than 5 months. Like, what the hell is this? WrestleMania, and then what happened? At the Greatest Royal Rumble, and now it's happening again at SummerSlam. Like, this is way too much. And the bad thing about this is I seriously don't know how they're going to book this. Roman Reigns kicked out of, 4 F5s at WrestleMania? What's he going to do, kick out 20? I think
in their minds, they're making it, they think it's this generation Stone Cold and Rock. But it's not even close. Like, not even anywhere close. When you have
At least Stone Cold and The Rock had the decency to have it only at WrestleMania. Okay?
Like when Rock was a heel, he was a heel. Like, he played that character, and they went with it. Roman's not a heel, and this guy gets booed in towns where I call them, like, casual central. He's still getting booed in these towns.
Yeah, and the thing is that they can't commit, and I mean creative or WWE can't commit to anything 100%. You know, like you said, The Rock was a heel, and they ran with that. Austin was a heel, and they ran with it. Just like with the whole Bobby Lashley thing winning, like, just when you think, okay, maybe the whole Roman Reigns thing is over and they're going to give Bobby Lashley that push, it's like, nah, we gave him the meaningless win. Now let's just continue on with the Roman push. It's like, why can't you just commit to something different? You know, just like the Bayley and Sasha thing, which we'll get to later. But
and it's such a shame.
I don't get it.
It's a shame they focus on him.
It, by the way.
What were you saying, Michael?
I was just talking about how the Bayley and Sasha, that feud went straight to hell. I'm sorry to be so
now they're
direct.
friends again. Like, what is this? Is this Mickey and Alexa 2.0?
Oh my gosh. What the heck? Guys.
The most interesting thing Bayley's ever done on the main roster is standing over Sasha and saying, you ain't shit. And now they're like halfway.
Did they miss out on something? Did they miss that one Raw where Bayley had signs of turning heel and how fucking apeshit the crowd went? And they just pushed that aside. They're like, nah, that's okay. We're going to go in our direction because we think it's right. And we'll do whatever Vince McMahon thinks is right.
Exactly. It's the commitment. Like, okay, you guys pull the trigger. Boom. You ain't shit, Sasha. Bayley's getting a huge pop. Everything's going great. You know, next week, let's double down on it. No, now they're hugging awkwardly in a ring together. It's like they're writing the show the day of and don't know what's gonna happen next week.
the
shame.
stupid thing about this feud was that Bayley can't trust Sasha Banks. And Corey Graves, he is so great. He always jokes about his hatred for Sasha Banks, how she'll always stab you in the back, and she's done that over and over again. Bayley says, you ain't shit. And since day one, she says, not even right now, but ever since I met you for years, this is what Bayley says. And out of nowhere, just one episode, they get back together. Don't you remember what Sasha's been doing to you? I don't understand this. I only have one theory on why this might be happening. You guys want to hear it?
No, here it comes.
I
think you mentioned this. Was this part of the Michael Chow creation? Oh no, that was the Roman Reigns thing. But let's hear this. And they're super creative by Michael Chow.
No, I mean, this is not a creative on myself. This is me theorizing why WWE might do this. And you guys, hashtag, you heard it here first. So if you hear from Meltzer or JD from New York or Cronin, you heard it here first. I'm thinking they're being friendly with each other. They're burying the hatchet because, bear in mind, pay-per-view coming up called WWE Evolution, an all-women's pay-per-view that's going across all 4 brands, the Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, and women from the UK division. Now, since all 4 divisions can come together, that means that the 4 horsemen of UFC can now join forces, and they could possibly take on the 4 horsemen of WWE. Yeah. If there's ever a time for them to possibly do this, it can only be at a pay-per-view where all 4 brands can participate. So if you guys
like this, yeah. I like this idea, but I feel like we would need to already have the other 2 debut.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be until October, but it's just I'm trying to think in the terms of WWE. Why are you just burying the hatchet? And it just seems kind of weird that they're saying that all 4 brands can participate in this pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Legends coming back. They're going to team up in some capacity. I don't know if it's going to be Legends versus the new newbies or something, but it's got to be a situation where people got to come together, bury the hatchet, and team up. That's what I'm thinking here. It's going to be for something.
My 2 cents on this, if I can, really quick. I think it's either one of 2 things, and one is I think they might have just scrapped this because they're gonna reveal the tag team titles for the women, and they're gonna want them, Bayley and Sasha, to be the inaugural tag team champions at Evolution. And number 2 is, as much as WWE says we're going to treat the women equal, it's the women's evolution, yada, 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 I can't think of a rivalry in recent years where the women legit hate each other or have a legit beef with each other. It always seems to be they beef for, a program or 2, give it a couple months, and then they're best friends a week later. Look at Alexa and Mickey.
That's where they had it. You say Alexa, they had it because of you get dirt sheets and you take that shit with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
If you remember when Sasha and Alexa, like when Alexa got drafted to Raw, there's that big rumor that there's backstage heat with Alexa and Sasha. They both think they're in the same position that they should be, or they're trying to one up each other, and there's like backstage beef with those 2. I think that's one feud they could have played off of and done something like that, like you're saying, Brian. But
yeah,
the fact that they won't do that because
that
they try to protect Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, and they try to. It feels like they think in the public eye, people don't want to see, 2 women having a blood feud. There has never really been a blood feud in the women's division that I can think of. And this Bayley Sasha thing could have been that. That could have been the first big actual blood feud leading to a title match at Mania. You ain't shit. All this, it could have been great. But they always seem to kind of pull back when it comes to the women actually truly hating each other. We have freaking Nia Jax and Natty holding hands this week. It's like, what the hell? Weren't you guys just fighting last week over Ronda Rousey?
This is my gripe with this pay-per-view, right? That's coming up with WWE Evolution. I've been asked by a lot of people, what do I think? What's my reaction to it? Yes, I'm happy that the women are getting their all, like, this is a big step. Like, this is as much as we want to shit on it, it's history, right? The women are getting their very own pay-per-view. I'm still skeptical of how much main focus is going to be on it. I just, because of the main roster booking we've had, to this point in pay-per-views and how many letdowns we've had at these pay-per-views, I'm going to have to go into that pay-per-view with zero expectation and with, like, I'm not going to get my hopes up because I don't have faith in what the main roster does for booking and storytelling to have this pay-per-view be a success.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Brian, what do you think about the pay? I'll go next, but what do you think about the whole women's pay-per-view?
So the whole women's pay-per-view, okay, so it's a tough one because I've been watching wrestling since I was a little kid. I have a 4-year-old daughter. She's turning 4 this month, and she's watched wrestling with me since the womb, you know? And to me, it's like, okay, I have a daughter, and I'm all for the whole women's thing. It's great and all that. But to me, it's like if you really want to make a statement and I guess put the women on the same level as the men, don't put a show on the side for them. Make them the main show as far as a WrestleMania, a SummerSlam. Let them have the SummerSlam main event. Let them have a WrestleMania main event. Then you're really putting them on the same table as the men. You know, putting them on their own separate show, I get it, and it's great. I'm gonna watch it. I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it. But is it really saying, hey, we're just as good as the guys, but we need to have our own show? Instead of saying, hey, we're just as good as the guys, we're gonna main event WrestleMania. We're gonna main event SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think that agenda has been pushed too hard. And I can compare it to them pushing Roman down our throats. They're kind of pushing this women's agenda down our throats. And I'm not trying to put anything against women, okay? Like, I'm all for it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, this agenda. And, okay, if it's tough because there's a lot of, you know, social media warriors or social justice warriors that are like, oh, this is the, you know, if you don't like this pay-per-view, you're against women. It's like, no. Like, let's step back a little bit. Let's take this show off of the WWE Network and put it strictly on pay-per-view. Are you going to buy it? No. You're not. I'm sorry. You're not going to buy it.
You know what they should have done? They should have had the main event an actual pay-per-view.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Main event SummerSlam.
That would have meant, I think, as me, as a person that likes women's wrestling too, I think that would have meant a lot more than them having their own pay-per-view. What I'm saying.
You know, having their own pay-per-view, that's great. I'm sure it's, you know, all power to them. But if you really want to say we are all equal, et cetera, have them main event WrestleMania. Have them main event SummerSlam. Then that's, to me, all right, we're all on the same table now. You know, you're literally separating them now. And so, you know. Yeah.
So, Michael,
what do you think? First of all, is this a legit pay-per-view, or is this going to be like a side thing? Like,
yeah, that's tough because there is already a pay-per-view that month. So I'm trying to think, is this like, I think it's going to be exactly like Greatest Royal Rumble. It was in the same month as Extreme Rules. So it's going to literally watered down, or I think it's going to be watered down because I think it's after the pay-per-view that's actually happening that month. So whatever women's feud that's going into that original pay-per-view that month is going to be like forced for 2 weeks.
Exactly. That's my point where I'm saying don't try to say we're throwing you guys a special pay-per-view, yada yada yada. No, it's not a pay-per-view. It's a house show. You're throwing the cameras on, you know. Because if you take this off of the network and put it strictly on pay-per-view, I promise you no one is buying it. And it's sad to say that because I'm all for the women's wrestling. I love it. You know, it's all fun and dandy. I'm sure some of the girls are better than some of the guys in there. But let's just call it what it is, you know?
So we need Michael Chow's opinion on this. Michael, what is your opinion on this women's Evolution, whatever event, if it's a pay-per-view, network special, whatever it is?
Evolution is a mystery. Sorry, guys. But real fast. So, I mean, I don't know whether it's going to be a pay-per-view or a side event like you guys said, because can you guys imagine how are you supposed to book these shows leading up to this so-called pay-per-view? Like, what are you doing? What are you going to do with the men? You know what I mean? You know, I'm not saying that the women should not have the event, but it's like, are the women are going to have all of these like feuds built up? Yeah. Like on these 3-hour Raws and SmackDown, you know what I mean? Are the guys
fast though? I'm reading it's a pay-per-view and network special, both.
So what? It's like the greatest Royal Rumble then.
And it will include Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and NXT UK branded wrestlers.
So yeah, so we'll have to wait see. Because I know I've heard rumors that are saying that they might replace TLC or was it Night of Champions? So I don't know whether there's a pay-per-view that might replace them. But to sum up my opinion on this, honestly, I'm all for the women. This whole women's, I feel like I've said it before. I feel like this kind of a little bit too much for this year. I thought a women's event, like a huge event every single year would have been good. So like this year was the Royal Rumble, next the Elimination Chamber. You know what I mean? Spread it out.
Yeah.
Well, I just felt like there's been way too many women event. Once again, not trying to be sexist, but it's just I feel like it's being kind of shoved like in our faces. I'm all for the women, but I just feel like there's a tad bit too much. Saying that, I just want to say my expectations for this pay-per-view. If you want to say it's an all-women pay-per-view, you got to go all in. And yes, I said all in. I mean everything.
You said it.
I said it. Hey, I got to promote that Total Divas, bro. So anyway.
I thought you were talking about all in the Ring of Honor show.
No, I'm talking about the ETV show Total Divas because they're all in. Did you not see the tweet? Get with the times, bro. But anyway. So you gotta be all in. If it's strictly all women, I want to see all women commentary table. Get Renee Young, Beth Phoenix. I don't care. Bring back Lita from Sunday Night Heat. I don't care. I want that women referee from NXT. Okay, and it's gotta be all women. I don't want to see shit like if you guys saw the recent season of Glow. I do not want to see any of the male superstars crash this pay-per-view and them having a match with the women against the men.
Yeah.
You might think that sounds cool. But I want this. You say it's an all-women's pay-per-view. It's got to be all women. I do not want any of the male superstars invading this shit. It's got to be all women. Women everywhere, commentary table, referees. It's got to be all women. Otherwise, it's just pretty much false advertisement. Like saying that Survivor Series is the only time where Raw goes directly in competition with SmackDown, even though we saw it on Elimination Chamber. Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, now Evolution.
So they're gonna have women from all the brands, right, across the board.
Yeah.
So, are they not gonna have an NXT Women's Champion there because that Shayna Baszler guy can't be at an all women's event?
Guy. How dare you call him a guy? Her a guy? Oops, I just did.
I don't care what anyone says. That's
quickly,
one tough
though,
dude.
this is interesting. October. I'm looking at it. October is actually going to be a month of new because you want to know what other event is being held in October?
Halloween
October
Havoc
6 is the Super Showdown in Melbourne, Australia. That's at the beginning of the month.
Oh my gosh!
And at
Holy
the end of
hell.
the month is the 28th. At the end of the month is the Evolution,
So
or
we're gonna have
whatever
3
they call it.
pay-per-views?
Now, guess what? You know what 2 weeks after Evolution is? Survivor Series.
What the hell? I didn't even put that together.
So they're gonna have 2 weeks to build towards Survivor Series. After 3 weeks if you include the Go Home show.
What's the October pay-per-view?
It used to be
Didn't
Hell in
Hell
a
in
Cell,
Cell?
but they moved it to September.
So there's gonna be nothing in October besides the 2
The 2 events.
events.
Yeah, that was kind of like the thing I was talking about before about how they might replace some of the pay-per-views this year.
And you don't want to miss the
So,
Super Showdown. Undertaker and Triple H go one-on-one for the very last time.
Oh, whatever.
Wait, so they're scrapping pay-per-views to throw on meaningless house shows? And
If they
flip a
really
camera
want to
on?
sell out
This might-
Melbourne,
this might be
Australia,
the actual pay-per-view.
they should do Ellsworth versus Gilbert in the main event. Yeah, I will sell out the pay-per-view.
Nah, bro, he's fired, but he's a free agent. Hey, he's trying to get the hashtag rehire Ellsworth. So everyone, hashtag rehire Ellsworth. But for 205 Live, that's what I mean.
And Super Showdown couldn't give a shit. If they had a main event of Gilbert and Ellsworth at Super Showdown, that's something I wouldn't care because that's nothing. That's not like an event that they're going to hold every year, right? They're just doing something special for Australia because they get nothing all the time.
Yeah, I think it's just like the first one.
match.
It could be the
VLC.
iconic Emma in the main event for all I care.
But yeah, so that's our opinions on that women's thing. Besides that, the big thing that happened on Monday Night Raw this week was frustrating to a lot of people because with the outcome we got. I knew we were going to get... It's like in the back of your head, you're like, okay, they can go two different directions. They can go the obvious Roman Reigns route, which everyone's going to hate, and you're like, okay, if they do it, and it's going to be shit on. But people had that little like thought of hope that maybe they'll do Lashley and Lesnar and it's something different. Like, not a lot of people are going to love it, but it's something different. But they just decided to, and I criticize them for doing rinse and repeat garbage. They literally just did it. They went into the rinse and repeat cycle.
And they could have went two different ways that would have been okay. They could have went with Lashley versus Lesnar, which it would have been fine. Like you said, nothing great. It would have been okay. At least it's something different. Or at least give us the triple threat. But no. Roman Reigns.
What was the point of them putting Elias in there? That's what I want to know. Why was Elias a small part of this?
Throughout the whole show?
Because he's dropping an album, bro.
Because of the album.
Yeah, but like, I guess, is that it? That's what I mean. The pointless booking they do on the main roster.
Yeah,
is that really needed?
They could have booked this. You know, the running joke throughout the show was they kept interrupting him. Why not have the last guy that interrupts him? He like smashes a bit with the guitar, and that sets up your SummerSlam feud for him. It was literally pointless.
So there went Roman Reigns. Whatever. Who cares? It's gonna get shit on. I don't know why they think otherwise. New York is a rough crowd as well. Do they really think that picking Roman Reigns here is gonna do anything? Is he gonna get a different reaction? No. They're gonna be muting the shit out of that match. And if Roman Reigns wins, it is what it is. Now, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, Braun's gonna cash in." I know that one thing I can actually say I loved what they did this week on Raw, and that's actually a shocker. You're hearing this right. I actually love the one thing they did on the main roster. Now, that doesn't make up for the 95% other crap that they produce on a weekly basis. It's not biased. I'm not biased, but the smartest thing they did this week was making Kevin Owens versus Braun Strowman for the briefcase. I know a lot of people are saying that they've already had a match, and basically this is like Extreme Rules 2.0. There's a lot of rematches, and yeah, I agree with them. Like they're doing Seth and Dolph Ziggler again. I would have put it a fatal four-way, to be honest. They could have added Finn Balor in there, or maybe even Elias. I think it could have been a sick fatal four-way, but that's just me. Now Kevin Owens is facing off against Braun Strowman at SummerSlam for the briefcase. Guys, I'm telling you. And Kevin, you listen to what he said, and I watched a YouTube clip. He's like, I don't care if it's pinfall, submission, countout, or anything. Whatever happens, he loses the briefcase if he loses the match. I think Kevin Owens is going to be winning the briefcase.
You see, I have one big problem with this real fast. People like that going into the briefcase because of the mere fact he already has a rematch clause for the Universal Championship. Why does he need to go for this briefcase?
But we're made to forget that.
So does Balor. So,
real quick, you know what? I don't think it's going to happen. Just like Roman Reigns, Vince will not allow Braun Strowman to lose twice in 2 straight pay-per-views. But that's my opinion. Brian, take it over. What do you think?
I, of course, have to disagree with Kyle. I think it's stupid for one reason. Brock Lesnar's on the show next week. Yeah. Why wouldn't Braun, instead of risking losing the title?
Well, how do we know he's not going to try it?
That's it. But so there goes your match.
I think he's going to try. No. Hold up. I think he's going to try it, but I think Kevin Owens is going to interfere to stop the briefcase catching from ever happening because he wants that briefcase, and he's going to stop it. He's going to attack the referee from behind or something.
So bring out another ref. Logically, you can just say bring out another ref.
Yeah, but you think the main roster is not logic. They're stupid. They're not going to do that. They're going to do one thing and stick to it.
It's like he can literally say, "I'll just cash in next week." Why risk?
But they don't do
losing
that.
It
because they're idiots. They make everyone look like stupid fools on the main roster.
And that's my only problem with it. It's like it doesn't make any sense because next week and maybe the next couple of weeks Brock might be there. He can just try to cash in every single day of the week.
Why would they do something like Kevin Owens versus Braun Strowman again, but for the briefcase? If there wasn't more of a chance that Owens was going to win the briefcase. I don't see the point in them doing that.
Because it's got to be different. Why would you have these two face again for nothing?
Then don't have them face them again. Have Braun Strowman do something else.
There's going to be nothing different. We thought Roman was going to be different with Lashley, and it's not.
They could have done Braun versus Lashley.
Look at honestly, and everyone in the chat room too, look at the list for this pay-per-view. It's almost 90% rematches from the previous pay-per-view. This is an awful pay-per-view. I don't know what else to say. Tiffany in the chat says you might skip SummerSlam. I might be with her. Tiff, if you're listening right now,
TakeOver's going to outbeat it. I'm telling you right now, TakeOver's going to outbeat SummerSlam by far. What they've already booked for TakeOver, done. No way the main roster touches that. Well, clearly they're going to go in the direction, we'll get to it, of a triple threat for the main title. Clearly they're going to be running the story of Adam Cole versus Ricochet. That right there kicks 3/4 of SummerSlam right in the ass.
Okay. Now, do you think that this whole I'll wait till we get to the NXT review.
Oh yeah,
because I have an opinion on this, but
okay.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, the whole. I mean, I just it doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, Braun can just cash in next week and not risk losing the. So why even? And I guess whatever. I just want to go back into Finn's Funhouse.
Oh my God. Yeah, Smiley Finn and Constable Corbin, Saturday Morning Slam main event every week. Anyways, before we head over to SmackDown, I just want to show some love over the chat first. I want to show some love to Tiffany from Dadass Podcast. Me and her did a coffee podcast that we are currently starting on her channel. For all you coffee lovers out there, we had an episode this week, so go check her out and follow Dadass Podcast. We got Datila on there. What's going on, Datila? Cuba Girl 125. What is going on, girls? Thank you for showing some love and joining us in the live chat here tonight. Before we continue as well, guys, this podcast is sponsored by ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com, a fantastic wrestling clothing and merchandise store at ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. It's amazing. It is our sponsor of the podcast. Make sure you use the code NOHOLDS on checkout, and you're going to save 10% on your order. That's right. You're going to save some money on your order. And guys, I can vouch for them. The quality is superior on this website. You're going to want to get some stuff from them. We've had a couple of people win some shirts from them, and I've already been told that they're amazing quality and they're great t-shirts, so go check them out. And make sure you use the code NOHOLDS on checkout. And one fan a month is going to win a special prize, so they'll be added another gift on top of their order. And I believe Datila was actually one of the winners for that month, and she got a RKO pendant from this website. So go check them out, guys. ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com, official sponsors of the podcast. Also, go check out WrestleRumble.com, guys. They do a fantastic pick'em. I hear their SummerSlam pick'em is going to be amazing with some great prizes, so you're not going to want to miss them. Go check them out, WrestleRumble.com, or follow them on Twitter at WrestleRumble. So, anyways, that's out of the way. SmackDown, guys. I will give them props. I kind of watched it. Had some free time, so I was in and out. But I caught some replays on YouTube. It's actually pretty decent. I'm getting a lot of vibes from people on Twitter that SmackDown's actually been getting slightly better. So
last week it was actually pretty good too. We didn't get to report on it, but last week's SmackDown was actually pretty good. And then this week's was good too. I really liked. Well, I don't want to get too much into it, but what the show ended with, I mean, that was really good. It should be for the title. I mean, SmackDown's slowly getting back up there. With the right people and with the right writing, it's doing pretty good.
Now, I have a gripe for this, though. Remember last time what happened when they went and surpassed Raw? What quickly happened last time this happened?
Oh, yeah. Everyone got shipped to Raw.
Yeah.
And they just made a
got shipped
shitty
to
Raw.
and they just made SmackDown ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And SmackDown just flows so much better than Raw. I don't know if it's the 2-hour deal or whatnot, but you feel like you get a complete show out of a 2-hour SmackDown more than a 3-hour Raw.
Although I still give gripe to some of the booking, it was tolerable for me this week.
I mean, the worst part of SmackDown was Asuka. Let's just say it.
What do you mean it was the worst part? She won.
What the hell?
That's actually good.
Yeah, against Billie Kay. Don't you ever touch that beautiful face again. No, don't you ever touch that face again.
Why?
She's gorgeous.
Although, I have no faith for Asuka anymore. I'm glad they actually made her win, but it was a useless win. It literally meant nothing.
Isn't it so ironic that Asuka's now winning that Ellsworth is fired? So she can win again, guys. Ellsworth is out of
She
here.
can beat Billie Kay, but she can't beat Carmella for whatever reason.
She's not going to get a rematch with Carmella knowing the fact that Ellsworth is gone. Nope. He served his purpose, and he's now gone.
She was afraid of Ellsworth. Don't forget, Ellsworth beat AJ Styles. So
the one clip I saw was...
times.
Yeah, the one clip I saw was Randy Orton's promo, and I'll give him props. That was actually a really good promo. And I'm on the fence with Randy Orton here and there. I get mixed reactions with him, or I have mixed opinions. This promo was actually well done.
By the way, that was very close to what I said last week. If you guys remember, I said Randy Orton's gimmick should be he's the legend killer, but instead of killing legends, he kills all the noobs. He essentially came out here and said that now he's the legend, and now he's going to kill everyone that the fans like. And I thought that was pretty good, too. Mm-hmm. So I agree. Looks like Vince stole my idea. Is kind of mixing it up, but hey, that's cool, too. But
yeah, that's exactly what I saw. I was like, Legend Killer 2.0, which is great, because that's honestly probably was his best work, was the Legend Killer gimmick. So why not revamp it into the Indie Killer or something like that? It's going to be great. We'll smash on all of Kyle's friends, and it'll be awesome. They can all go. They can all go
Randy
to
Orton
sweet
goes
each other
over
back
on
to Japan.
Everybody, I'll lose my fucking mind.
Yeah, call up Adam Cole, baby.
As much as he's good as a heel and he's good at promo, he wouldn't be able to lace up Okada's boots. Okay,
Orton's never heard of him.
Orton is
Okada?
A great heel work, great mic work, but when it comes to the ring, no, I can't. Randy Orton's ring work is lazy. He does mostly holds for the entire fucking match. His wrestle. He's famous for the rest holds. That's literally a thing. Randy Orton's rest holds. And then as soon as he's done resting, he goes into that 5 move. He has his own 5 moves of doom.
Never heard of this Okada guy. So maybe he's making Randy Orton's boots.
No,
I think is that what you mean? Is he making the boots over in some factory in Japan?
Wow.
Is that what he's doing?
I didn't go there.
How
about a name that you know? He couldn't lace up Kenny Omega's boots.
Never heard of him.
No, that's a lie. You've heard of Kenny Omega.
Yeah, he's really
the
great.
most casual fan in the world, and you've heard of Kenny Omega.
He's really great on the in the minor leagues. That's awesome.
The minor leagues. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Sure, yeah. And maybe in your eyes, he's the minor leagues.
He's doing great work for 50 people in attendance.
He's doing exceptional work. The guy has had multiple 5-star matches. One against a WWE star, Chris Jericho, which that match almost got pretty sure got a 5.5-star rating. So
yeah, exactly. So you needed Chris Jericho to draw, right? Because this Kenny Omega guy.
Chris Jericho, I have no gripe with.
He draws.
But Chris Jericho is part of the Indies. He's wrestled multiple New Japan matches in the last year.
The Indies are part of Jericho. Jericho isn't a part of the Indies.
All this work with the Indies. It's shocking because maybe he actually sees how good the wrestlers and the talent is there that he wants to work with. That he puts up a 5.5-star match against a guy from New Japan in New Japan rather than someone in the WWE. Name me a 5.5-star match he's had with someone in the WWE.
A 5.5-star match from a 50-year-old man that hates wrestling.
Exactly, he couldn't do that in
Japan.
WWE.
That's great. We're talking about a 5-star match from Dave Meltzer. A guy that's never laced up anyone's boots.
I'd give it a 5-star match. I don't even care what Meltzer's rating is. That was a fucking amazing match.
Too bad nobody saw it, but hey.
Well, nobody saw it. Yeah, it has 0 views.
Oh, I'm sure it had a couple thousand, The indie marks are great.
I'm going to show you how many views it has.
Let's go. How many views does it have?
Work in New Japan that they're putting together is by far the better in-ring product than what the WWE can put up.
I bet you if I search up YouTube what Omega versus Jericho, the views on that would be lower than a Total Divas episode. I guarantee you.
You can't compare it to Total Divas because that's an E Network show.
Exactly. More people watch Total Divas
that's
than
not
New
fully
Japan.
WWE. You can't compare that Total Divas to a wrestling
exactly.
match.
They're not even wrestling.
You're
more
comparing
people
to
watching.
a wrestling match.
More people are watching Total Divas than New Japan. That's all I gotta say.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But Total Divas is all in. So I mean, I'm just saying. But
anyways, SmackDown. I'll give it some credit this week. It was actually decent. I'm glad they went in a decent direction with AJ Styles. I was actually semi-scared that I read something on Twitter, but I didn't. I took it with a grain of salt, but I'm like, oh my god, I can see them doing it. I thought they were going to do Randy Orton, AJ Styles. I would have been pissed because I think Samoa Joe is rightfully should be the number one contender, and they're doing AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. That's going to be the show stealer. But again, this goes right back to what I was saying about WWE Evolution. I have zero faith because look what they did with Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. You think they're going to give us a better match with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe? Absolutely not.
I would have
especially with Roman and Brock on the same card. They're going to main focus everything on that. They're going to limit these guys to like a 15-minute match, most.
Yeah, I would have preferred RKO versus AJ Styles. That way, Orton could have RKO'd him all the way back to Japan, and you guys could have took a flight over there and just too sweeted each other all day. Yeah. You know, take Finn with you while you're at it.
And we'll too sweet and then give you another finger. Anyways. SmackDown. Yeah, it was all right.
round. Oh, real fast. Do you guys like the fact that Samoa Joe was basically just giving the number one contendership shot? I mean, I think I said it before. It's like I really hope he earns it, or they make some type of tournament, or at least is there no more over the top rope battle royales?
The thing I semi-see is that like he's been like dominant over the last couple of weeks.
Well, no, I mean, well, here's the thing. I'm not trying to be rude because I like, you know, I do like R-Truth and I do like Ty Dillinger. But to say Paige goes, oh, I know someone who should be the opponent. The guy who defeated R-Truth and Ty Dillinger, two guys who barely appear on the show. It's not like this guy's defeating Shinsuke. It's not like he's defeating high-profile stars here. So it's like I just would have liked a better way for him to had won it. Bring back the over-the-top rope battle royales. Bring back the freaking beat the clock challenge. Bring back the championship scramble. If you guys remember that, I get what you're saying. How they just handed him the thing, but I think one minor tweak would have made more sense if Paige said, "Hey, Joe, you weren't the person I was going to call out," but Joe could have been like, "Well, I signed the paper. It's on, a binding contract." That could have been a better storyline. Mm-hmm.
I think that one little tweak of Paige saying, "Hey, you weren't the person I was going to call out," and that would have made Joe an even bigger heel. Well, I signed it; he has no choice. It's a legal contract. I think that would have just made more sense.
It would have to get some high ratings for SmackDown. I think he would have done it too. I think it would have been good if, and I think I brought this up the other week, if Paige said her original choice was John Cena. Have John Cena come back next week, make a number one contendership match since Samoa Joe signed the contract, and then put Samoa Joe over John Cena, then John Cena can just leave again. I think John Cena would have been down to put over Samoa Joe, and it would have made a lot of sense. He's free agent, has Samoa Joe beat him, and that would have been good. At least he earned it against John Cena, who would have been Paige's original pick.
Well, you guys
hashtag mock job creative.
That sound of the bell means we're done talking about the main roster. We're going to move on to the A show, NXT. Yes, the NXT champs are raining down upon us. And, wow. Huge episode of NXT this week, which was highlighted by the NXT championship match between Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black. We also had Lacey Evans in action and a furthering storyline between Ricochet and Adam Cole, baby. Man, if there ever was a main event on a on a show, like a weekly episode, that tops everything. I mean, like we talked about the tag team match a couple of weeks ago that blew us out of the water. The main event was just as good. And what the result we got of it was just insane how it done it. Everyone was wondering how they were going to do this, whether you read the spoiler or not beforehand. And I really hate how they posted the spoiler on like the Twitter accounts and stuff. I really hate that. They don't post any other, like the main WWE Twitter accounts don't post any spoilers until something big happens, and I hate that. I really hate that they do that. It's just to me it ruins it. So we'll move into the NXT review, and we started off with Adam Cole against a Samoan, I'm going to say. This guy was literally like a love child of the Usos and Roman Reigns. His name was Sean Maluda.
Maluda. They had mentioned that he was from the Cruiserweight Classic.
I don't remember him. I think I might remember him vaguely because I think I made the same analogy during that tournament, but like, sure. Sean Maluda, whatever. We'll see what happens with this guy. He faced Adam Cole in the opening contest. I thought it was a decent match just to showcase Adam Cole as the North American Championship. That was basically the main focus here. Maluda tries to do a dive off the second rope, ends up getting caught in midair with a super kick, and then a last shot by Adam Cole for the 1-2-3. He wins via pinfall. And the big thing was what happened after the match. We had Ricochet. We had Adam Cole. Ricochet eventually. Adam Cole get on the mic. He says he's the most buzzworthy superstar on any brand. Defending his title all over the world. Cole says even tonight he gave Maluda a shot and goes to continue. But out comes Ricochet with a mic in hand. I just want to say before we continue from here, Adam Cole had a huge reaction this week from the crowd. Like
all 20 people?
Undisputed. Okay. You know what? That's enough out of you. 20 people. There's more than 20 people in that. I'm sure you can count. I'll let you count next time. Anyways, he got a really good reaction from the crowd, more than he should be getting, and then Ricochet comes out. He gets a massive reaction. Ricochet says he's happy for Cole because he didn't run from his opponent, and even though it was a non-title match against a guy's name he can't even remember. So Ricochet poking fun at Adam Cole here. Ricochet continues that Cole has done nothing but shockingly be coward, and despite being so good, he has an idea. How about that he has a match for the title at TakeOver Brooklyn against Ricochet? And then Cole agrees. He is so good, but he's not diminishing himself to fight Ricochet at Brooklyn, and leaves the ring. And then as he's leaving, Ricochet gets, go ahead, just leave. Just like a coward that I thought you were. Crowd with a coward chant. Cole goes to get to the ring. Ricochet does that handspring taunt, and then he does that backflip into the middle of the ring to scare Adam Cole a little bit. The rest of Undisputed Era shows up, and Cole goes back into the ring. War Raiders suddenly come out here, and I'm like, oh shit, something's going down here. And War Raiders are like stalking the Undisputed Era. They squeak out and try to slip out through the barricade as they're trying to leave behind the curtain. Trent Seven and Tyler Bate appear behind them, and they start fighting and brawling. So interesting here. Is Michael, do you think this is a little tease of what the War Games match is going to be come November?
If it isn't, then what the hell are they doing?
Mm-hmm. It was just such a jam-packed opening. It was just like, what the fuck?
They could possibly have maybe a triple threat match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. So we never know. So War Games, yeah, but we'll have to wait. Might be number one.
I have a guess on War Games.
And the guess?
Oh, well, and I'm not going to get to it to the main event. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you had input for this actually great opening to a show. Better than what the main roster put together.
I watched your B version of a main event. I didn't watch the whole show. I'm not going to waste my time on it.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's only a B version because no Roman Reigns. So, yeah, I guess it is kind of the B main event.
Got to focus on only one guy, right? Yeah, my bad.
Anyway.
Yes, the War Games. I think this is a War Games tease. I think we're going to go in the direction of Undisputed Era versus Mustache Mountain. That's their name. I was going to say 7 big, but whatever. Mustache Mountain and the War Raiders. So War Raiders, Mustache Mountain, Undisputed Era. I think that might be it. And then there was a huge opening. Now I'm trying to think of what's actually going to go down at TakeOver. Like, which team is going to get the title shot, or are they actually going to do it twice? Are they going to do a triple threat tag team match at Brooklyn and then the rematch in the War Games match come November?
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to think of what's actually going to happen. I don't know if you have a prediction, Michael, but
I do not. You see, this is how unpredictable the NXT pay-per-views can be. Not another Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar match, which is totally predictable. So we don't know what happens with NXT. So random. The main event was random in a good way tonight. So yeah, NXT gets you keep guessing, which makes you want to tune in next week. Not tune in for a big announcement next week and Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley. I wonder who's going to win.
Oh, exciting stuff there.
I wonder if he got low ratings. Jeez.
Anyway, sorry. I love it. I'm drinking it in, man.
Just like you drink the NXT Kool-Aid, it's okay.
NXT Kool-Aid. No, I'm sorry. we see the light. You're just you want to get Michael P.S. Hayes jobs. I understand.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome.
We had a interesting contract signing. This is something different. Like NXT, this is what I love about NXT. They like to push the envelope in a way and try out new things. They had a contract signing backstage. So this is a backstage taped contract signing. William Regal looks over the contract, and they're in like a boardroom. Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane are on each side of William Regal. Regal knows that this is a rematch from the Mae Young Classic Finals, which Baszler interjects and says that she is nothing like the Shayna Baszler she was back then. Since then, she's become the champion and has run through the entire division. She wonders what Zayn has done. Zayn signs a contract and says Baszler knows Zayn can beat her. So this is one thing through this whole contract signing is I wish it sucks. I can't really wish on someone to learn better English, but it almost they made Zayn say the same thing over and over here.
It might have been the same clip just played over and over again.
To me, that's what I was feeling. But what we got from Baszler was prime. And what she says is true. She's come a long way since the Mae Young Classic. She's run through the division. She's literally been a great women's champion, and she's on literally the right path to be one of the most dominant ones since Asuka. So,
yeah, that worked out great.
Yeah, whose fault is that? Main roster. That's right. Baszler thinks Zayn is just pretending just like every other woman in the division, and it's pathetic. Zayn repeats herself once again. Like I said, it's just it kind of like, I don't know if, and it says here in my notes that I feel like Baszler was getting annoyed by it. I don't know if that was the tactic for Zayn. I think maybe it was just because of her language barrier. That's all she knew how to say.
I think that she was just kind of nervous because she knows it. Kairi knows it. She can beat her. And by the way,
Michael, for reiterating exactly what she said 5 times in that promo.
Well, I am Asian. I got to represent the Asian nation, so of course I say so. I do want to point out, I hate to be a stickler. This is just who I am, but Shayna Baszler has beaten Kairi Sane on a regular episode of NXT. If you go on YouTube and put Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, this would technically be the rematch, the third rematch between the three. It's all tied up. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is a temporary feud because for some reason, I don't know why, I feel like it was supposed to be Bianca Belair versus Shayna Baszler, but ever since her injury, they kind of had to throw in this last minute.
So what they did this week with Bianca Belair, saying that she was like that, so they're playing it off an injury angle, and Belair says that she doesn't need to explain what happened, she's hurt, and why she should work 3 times harder than when she's undefeated, and even as she's like walking away, she's like, I'm undefeated. Like, she was just like a weird moment here. I don't know if it was because she was pissed off, but it's definitely a different sounding Bianca Belair. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. Mm-hmm. But, anyways,
so just a little note here. So you're saying you like this because it's different from the main roster, but if I'm not mistaken, a couple weeks ago, we had a backstage contract signing with the champion and an Asian that you can understand as well. Just saying, Nakamura and AJ. It was the same exact.
It was backstage.
Backstage page and an Asian. Same exact thing. Sorry, Michael, but we can continue.
Right. Anyways.
By the way, Brian, you got cut off a lot. I don't know if it's happening. I don't know if you guys can hear, but I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, it's okay. It wasn't important anyways.
Well, no, I kind of understand what Brian's saying. Yeah, I think there was a backstage contract signing with Nakamura and Styles, and didn't Styles like slap Nakamura in the face or something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we had Finley. Who did you guys have? We had Fit Finley back there. You guys can keep
Anyways,
I don't know.
I'm trying to get to my point here. They still, even though they had this contract signing, we still had a backstage thing with Candice LeRae. Now, and I didn't think they would go that route after a contract signing. So what's going on with, like, is Candice LeRae going to get involved here?
Well, they need like people for Shayna Baszler to be on the road to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. So I feel like this is going to be the temp feud in between, and I feel like Shayna Baszler sadly will be Candice LeRae. You gotta keep her looking strong, because a triple threat match, I just don't know how they would really why they would do it. I mean, she lost, so I mean, I just don't know how they would add her into it or why. But
we had Lacey Evans in their showing too. Lacey Evans, and she's facing a enhancement talent. Tanilla Price, and she even had her own entrance, but she got women's righted, our favorite finishing move here in the podcast. And that was it for that. They did announce something awesome for next week.
Saudi Arabia.
No, it's not that.
Super Showdown.
My boy Kona Reeves, the finest, is going to be facing EC3 in a one-on-one match. So I'm actually pumped for that.
I'm a little bit nervous because I am a big EC3 fan. Now, I have admitted my hatred for Kona Reeves, but if I can be completely honest, it's the wrong time for Kona Reeves to lose, because it's exactly what happened to EC3. Mm-hmm. Kona Reeves is back in the NXT. Should he be losing this soon? I mean, it's up against a guy who I really like, but I just don't see what's going to happen. I'm really thinking Velveteen Dream's going to participate and maybe cost EC3 the match, maybe. But I just don't know who's going to win, because I like EC3, but I think at the same time it's a bad time for Kona Reeves to lose this soon. I don't know what's going to happen.
So I'm intrigued. I'm very, very intrigued. It's exactly what I thought, Michael. So I'm very intrigued to see that. So we'll get to the main event.
I feel like Velveteen Dream is going to interfere, because they made it a point to actually show footage of Velveteen Dream screwing over EC3.
I think he's going to be sitting at ringside on a chair.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Or on commentary, and he makes his way into the match somehow. We get to the main event. NXT Championship, Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black. This was so well done. And I know a lot of people give their opinions on Tommaso Ciampa, should he have entrance music or not. I'm on the fence about it. Yes, I do. I think that he maybe should have some like evil piano music. I don't know if that's eventually coming and they're working on it, but I also agree with the people who are saying that the fans booing him and shitting on him is the best theme song of all time. Like, it just goes so well with him and what he's done and what his character is at the moment. I think it's really good. So he comes out to his same chorus of boos and "you suck" chants and all that. This is one thing, too, that our person in the chat, Tiffany, always points out. The champion came out second here. Something the main roster does not do a lot or even at all. The heel comes out first.
If I can defend the main roster really quick, you just said that him coming out to boos and whatnot is the best thing you've ever heard.
For Tommaso Ciampa,
you must love Roman Reigns.
It does not work for Roman Reigns, though, because Roman Reigns is playing a face. He is not playing a heel. Tommaso Ciampa is the heel here. Yes, it is not the same. It was nowhere close as the same. Not
You're
even
right,
close.
People are actually watching Roman, not.
No, people are actually watching this because this is all they're talking about. This was the greatest. Actually, this is probably the best main event that Roman has no matches even close to comparing to in his little repertoire there of his history in WWE. Anyways, so Aleister Black, the champion, came out second here, and I think that's better than what they actually do. I think I'm all for the bandwagon of the champion should be coming out second. So, Tiffany, I know you noticed that and you love that. So, Aleister Black comes out. One thing they did cool here was when Aleister Black was sitting in his like Zen pose in the middle, Tommaso Ciampa was just literally right up in his face. Like, didn't even give him time to get zoned into the match, and then like Aleister Black suddenly got pissed off and stood up, and then they're nose to nose. Like, you could feel the tension in this match, just right from the get-go. And man, did it ever deliver. This was better than I expected. I expected it to be really good, but this was good. I love the direction they did at the end. Like, Michael, what was your first reactions to this match?
Well, I kind of knew it was gonna happen because you and Brian kind of already read the results and kind of hinted at it. I'll tell you this: when you guys were talking about it, and I honestly can't believe I got through 1 week without any direct spoilers. But I didn't see anything on Twitter. But when you guys said that something big was gonna happen in this match, I thought two things. Number one, either the title was gonna switch hands, or two, there was going to be a debuting superstar to screw over Aleister Black or something, which would explain Aleister Black's new feud if Tommaso Ciampa lost and went up against Gargano. But, man, it did happen. I'm shocked. The title rarely ever changed hands on NXT. In fact, I actually looked it up for if you guys want some statistics. The very last time the NXT championship actually changed hands on a TV tape of NXT was all the way back December 3rd, 2016, when Nakamura defeated Samoa Joe in Japan on NXT. But other than that, titles rarely ever change hands. I mean, it's especially the world title. I was shocked. I didn't think it was going to happen. I don't know where it goes from here. I mean, do we do a triple threat match? I'm kind of hoping no, because this great feud with Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano, it just feels like Aleister Black would be the third wheel on this big date between them. There's like this big date of a boyfriend and girlfriend, and then you have a friend tagging along. I think
it plays back to what a lot of people don't. I really give it shit to. It's the rematch clause that WWE gives out way too much and has an infatuation with, and that's the only reason why I think he'd be added to the match. If that didn't exist, I don't think Aleister Black would be part of this match or this future rematch that we're going to get.
By the way, Aleister Black's streak is officially broken. You know, it's 1-on-1. A lot of people say, no, it's broken when Johnny Gargano. That was a fatal four-way. Yeah. So Tommaso Ciampa is actually the first guy ever to pin Aleister Black.
And that should give reason for Aleister Black to get pissed off and want to be added to the match, because like he was cheated out, because you saw how the finish was. Like, the match was great. I just want to talk about the match first. Like, the match was amazing. The amount of near falls they had, and the storyline that the match told was the best. And they even got you hyped for it in the beginning of the show, and they had the promos for it. The promos alone, like, the people that do the promos in NXT are amazing. I think there's literally a night and day difference from the promo packages from the main roster. They get you hyped for matches in NXT, and they did a good job with building up this match. In the match,
This was a great feud. Like, if this was going down, Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, this would have been great. Assuming, let's just say, during their last match, let's say Gargano had lost and he was forced to quit NXT and he went up to the main roster, Aleister Black versus Tommaso Ciampa would have been a great feud. And by watching this match, I felt like this feud was going on for the last month. But they barely had any build up. All we had was Tommaso Ciampa DDTing Aleister Black off a massage table, and then that's it. I just felt like, man, this match was so good. I feel like this feud's been going on for so long. It was a match worthy of a pay-per-view, and we got it on TV. So shocking. So
that I 100% totally agree with you. And the ending was insane, because I think we were all looking forward to how they were going to end this match. Like, what are they going to do if they're going to give the title to Ciampa? How is it going to be done? And if you read the spoilers or not, you had a big feeling that Ciampa did have an advantage in this match somehow, because Johnny Gargano was going to make his presence known. And there was even at one point in the match where I thought he was going to win, when the referee was tending to the down cameraman, and Tommaso Ciampa grabs a crutch from underneath the ring and pegs Aleister Black in the throat. And he only got a 2 fall. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I honestly thought that was it. And then they got to the one point where he grabbed the title belt, and he brought it into the ring. And as he turns around to a super kick by Johnny Gargano, who a lot of people were pointing out that they did a good job. And it's the detail that they do in NXT that goes a long way here. That he wasn't advertised for the show. They didn't make mention of him once throughout the entire show, and he showed up in street clothes. not in like ready to go attire or like from another taping, like he's wearing the same thing. He was in street clothes and a Johnny Gargano t-shirt. He super kicks Tommaso Ciampa, and instead of like, usually when people are holding like an object or whatever and they get a super kick or a move done to them, they like, when they fall, the object goes flying. Like they let go of it instantly. Ciampa like held that thing with like a grasp that he wasn't going to lose that thing. Like that was his and he wasn't going to let it go. And as he's going down, Johnny Gargano tries to rip it out of his hands, and as he's ripping it out of his hands, he does the whole 180 spin and it clocks Aleister Black in the head. And Johnny Gargano is the reason why Aleister Black is not NXT champion today. And I think they did a really, really good job of this.
I mean, last week, Johnny Gargano said that Ciampa cannot win that title. And then he basically is the reason why Tommaso Ciampa won that title. And it's crazy. I really did not think Aleister Black's title reign would end this soon. And I feel so bad for the guy. Ever since he's been champion, he's never main evented an NXT takeover. And the guys who are responsible why he hasn't main evented any takeovers is the reason why he has essentially lost the title. So feel bad. So we'll see where it goes from here. I'm not upset, but I'm also not happy about this decision. And I'm very curious on where they're going to go from here. I'm thinking maybe Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano, #1 contendership.
So I had a buddy of mine actually text me about it, and this is his creative. Like this is I'll give him full creative props for this, and I actually thought it was pretty interesting. So this is how he books it. He says, "I'm predicting each of the three get a team at War Games for the main event. Like they each have a team. Then at the Royal Rumble weekend takeover, Ciampa successfully defends the title against Gargano, leading to one final battle. Takeover New Jersey, WrestleMania weekend, first ever NXT Hell in a Cell match."
I have a little twist on that. So I was thinking about it as well, and I remember you saying this has to end at some kind of Hell in a Cell. Where does this end? It just has to get bigger and bigger and bigger. What about at NXT Brooklyn? You have a triple threat: Gargano, Ciampa, Black. Black regains the title, so obviously Gargano costs Ciampa the belt, and they finally settle it in the first ever just 2-person War Game match. It's such a it's such a big cage, such a big this is the only way they can settle it.
They can have two
the first ever.
Matches. They can have
why not? I mean, the cage is already there. The cage is already there. Yeah. So let them have the team one in the beginning, and then they're the main event. It's so big that it needs to be them two in that cage destroying each other.
That'd be good. So yeah, both even your creative decision there, or your creative idea in that one is it's so they can go so many ways with this. It's going to be interesting to see, but I have full faith in what they do. So we'll see what happens. I remember a month or two ago I read rumblings that Gargano will be called up right after SummerSlam. So I'm hoping that not. If they're going to do a triple threat at Brooklyn, that can't be the final one. Unless they do some sort of Black regains the title and they have like a hug it out moment and they finally call it quits. Like that's like they tell each other like that's it. Like we're done. We can't fight each other anymore. We've killed each other. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Then they can get jackets like Bayley and Sasha. And come out
they can go to the main roster and get job. They can have matches with R-Truth and whoever every week, or get pushed aside and put on 205 Live, which sucks because 205 Live it's got some pretty good talent there, and they don't care. They literally 205 Live is basically like a what main event and Superstars used to be back in the day.
Yep.
But very, very interesting episode of NXT this week. Next week, it looks like it's just highlighted by, so far, my boy Conor Reeves and EC3.
Oh, jeez.
Finest showdown. I just want to hear EC3. I think the NXT crowd for these next couple of tapings is hot, man. They were singing Aleister Black's theme song. I can see them singing EC3's theme song too. They love singing that chorus, man. CFO dollar signs make some pretty good theme songs, and they also sometimes make some pretty horrendous theme songs. So
I love EC3's, except for the beginning. I hate that beginning quote, but other than that, I love everything else. And this is just a pure example of if EC3 is turning into a babyface, this is a babyface done right. Unlike Bobby Roode, where it's just plain cringe and stuff.
Oh my
just
God.
EC3's like he's walking around and he's kind of like complimenting, but the way he does it is kind of like
it's cocky.
arrogant.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the way to do it. Bobby Roode, he's just smiling all the time, and it's just
dancing with No Way Jose. And just,
I mean, now look at him. What's Bobby Roode done lately, other than jobbing to everyone? Now this is, God. Why'd you move him to Monday Night Raw? Jesus, I don't know what to say. Bobby Roode, thumbs down.
That's the NXT review. We're gonna get into your fan tweets out there, and yes, I do have to start with this one because I promised I would read his tweet or he would disown us. It is from former co-host of the podcast, Corporate Cappy. And he puts hashtag AskNHBWP, which you people out there, if you want to tweet us, make sure you include the hashtag AskNHBWP. It allows me to find the tweets better. He puts, is there really any other logical way to book it than this masterpiece? Don't at me. Hashtag duh. Hashtag you're welcome. So it's a 2-page Facebook note here. iPhone note. And I got to read this. And I'm going to be cringing reading this. I know Brian's going to love it because he drinks the same Kool-Aid as Corporate Cappy. So just brace yourself.
$1 billion Kool-Aid.
Just brace yourself.
This better be how to book Ellsworth versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam.
It has to do with Ellsworth. So
okay, here we
since
go.
Page is a bully and won't hashtag rehire Ellsworth, he is now the hottest free agent in the WWE. I beg to differ. Therefore, he can now choose to go over to Raw and demand that Roman Reigns face him for the right to be #1 contender. With the help of Bobby Lashley screwing Roman over for taking his title opportunity away from him, Ellsworth goes over to challenge Brock at SummerSlam. Strowman comes in and cashes in at the beginning of the match to make it a triple threat. Brock and Braun beat each other to death, leaving James Ellsworth to crawl in from his smart strategy of hiding under the ring to cover, thus crowning him the new and most must-see Universal Champion in its illustrious 2-year history, finally making justice for Ellsworth a complete reality. I felt my inner... just everything inner was hurting reading this.
Let's not forget, like I said earlier, Ellsworth beat AJ Styles 3 times, so I don't know why you guys are underestimating the guy.
James Ellsworth is fired, thank God, and should be put far away from this company. Or as Michael said before we started the show, he should be in the category of if they bring back Money in the Bank with Carmella is involved, then Ellsworth should be involved. Other than that, be put aside. It should be like when when they bring back the Punjabi prison, Great Khali gets involved. After that, we never see him again.
I don't even want that. But if I could be real, honestly, if they ever rehire Ellsworth, I mean, honestly, just throw him in 205 Live. He doesn't have to win. No, I mean, he has personality. He's like a poor man's Enzo. So it's like throw him in there. People like him. They know who he is. Yeah. He's never really gotten a chance to actually, in a way, kind of wrestle. I mean, he kind of did against AJ Styles, but I actually think he would do good in 205 Live. Good as in not win matches, but good as in, like, people liking him and him being there.
He could be the 205 Live R-Truth. There, got it.
Yeah, well, Cappy, you know what? Even though you're a fan of the worst part of Raw, Sasha Banks, I'm going to have to agree with you on this booking here. We all complain about the champion not being on the show. What better way than to have Ellsworth?
The main roster would be a complete joke if they did that. It would be a complete joke. It'd be a complete joke. It'd be awful. I would stop watching. I would even watch highlights. I would even watch highlights.
Styles 3 times.
Yeah, joke booking. Like I'm sure AJ Styles deep down was like, "What the fuck?"
Your boy Nakamura didn't beat Styles 3 times.
NXT, he would beat AJ Styles.
Oh yeah, but nobody would watch, so it doesn't really matter.
You know what would be good if at SummerSlam when Roman Reigns takes on Brock Lesnar, right? All of a sudden Braun Strowman comes down like he's gonna cash in, and then all of a sudden Brock Lesnar he F5s Roman Reigns because he was distracted looking at Braun Strowman about to cash in. And then he takes off his mask, and it's James Ellsworth wearing a Braun Strowman mask. And it wasn't a Money in the Bank briefcase.
How is
it was
that
actually
possible?
It was actually a it was actually a Money in the Bank lunch pail, like the ones you can buy on Shop Zone. And then all comes full circle. There you go.
No. I'll one up you. Braun tries to cash in, but Ellsworth pops out of the briefcase and pins Lesnar.
Right.
Book it.
Anyways, well, thank you for your tweet, Cobra Cappy, I guess. We'll move on. We got Glorious Greg on Twitter, or at Gilly Gaming. He's a Twitch streamer. Go follow him on Twitch. He puts, what do you think, or who do you think will beat Shayna for the NXT Women's Championship? I can kind of see them doing the whole Kairi Sane thing at Brooklyn in the back of my head, but I don't think it's going to happen just yet. I could see a Bianca Belair finally beating Shayna Baszler. That's what I think.
Well, I don't really watch NXT, so I can't say anything, but I do think it's unfair that this Shayna Baszler guy gets to fight the women on NXT.
Anyways, Michael.
If I could be completely honest, as a way to give him a huge boost, I feel like the winner of this year's Mae Young Classic is going to be the one to beat Shayna Baszler.
Dethrone? I hope it's Toni Storm.
Well, she did technically lose to her in that UK event, so we'll have to wait and see. So
next tweet
we'll
by
see.
Glorious Greg. Thoughts on Kevin Owens fighting Strowman for the Money in the Bank briefcase? Do you think Owens should win the contract? I'm going to go biasly here and say yes, because I think he's going to do it cheatingly, like very, very heelish. He's going to make Strowman get counted out or get DQ'd or something. I can see him doing that. And because he's a big fan of Eddie Guerrero, I can see him pulling off an Eddie Guerrero, smacking the chair in the ground, throwing the chair up at Braun, and it causes a DQ, winning him the briefcase. I can see something going down here.
Yeah, we kind of touched on it earlier. I'm okay with it. It's it is what it is. Either KO or Strowman with the belt eventually sounds good to me. It's just it doesn't make any sense. Like I said earlier, why wouldn't Strowman just try to cash in before that? But I mean, either one of those guys with the belt, it's gonna be good stuff.
I don't see it. I really don't see. And a lot of people think that, honestly, Kevin Owens is going to win that briefcase and he's going to cash in. But when you really think about it, I mean, WWE has that bad reputation of big pushes, but finally defeating Brock Lesnar after, a year and a half is a huge deal. And I just don't see them giving it to Kevin Owens. I really don't. I just assume that two of Vince McMahon's sons, Braun Strowman or Roman Reigns, would rather get the honor of defeating Brock Lesnar any way they do it. I just don't see them letting Kevin Owens have that big ordeal. And I don't know if this might play into it, but don't forget Survivor Series is coming up. And if they are going with champions versus champions, I just think it would be a lot better if it was Braun Strowman representing Raw taking on the SmackDown champion, or, believe it or not, Roman Reigns representing Raw taking on the SmackDown Live champion. I just don't see Kevin Owens representing Raw as the main champion taking on the main champion from SmackDown Live. So that might be harsh. I like Kevin Owens, but it's just the way I see it.
Well, Owens versus AJ would be good. So hey,
That would be good. But we'll move on.
Yeah,
Time constraints. Anyways, we got Datila tweeting into the show. Instead of Reigns versus Lesnar again, I would have either booked. I did ask a question: how would you book the Universal Championship match? So she says she would have either booked Lashley versus Lesnar or have a fatal four-way with Lesnar, Balor, Rollins, and maybe even Lashley, which is, in my opinion, would have been better. I mean, anything's better than what they have right now. But she says the fact that we are getting Reigns versus Lesnar again makes me happy that I'm not watching SummerSlam. I don't want to see that match again. I don't blame you. If you don't want to watch SummerSlam, I wouldn't blame you either, because for one, it's going to be like an 18-hour show. Two, it's going to have a main event that we've already seen 800 times. So, yeah.
Well, Balor can't go to the SummerSlam because he's stuck in his funhouse, so that's not going to happen.
He's stuck on Saturday Morning Slam. He's got to work his way up.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Such a great piece of talent, but so underutilized.
If it was up for me booking it, honestly, it gets into the scenario where Brock Lesnar, he's not showing up and being desperate. Bear in mind this storyline wise, they want to make sure they get that belt off Brock Lesnar. So what does Kurt Angle and Vince McMahon do? They book Brock Lesnar not only against Roman Reigns, but the two guys who have a rematch clause and who has never been able to get that title. So they want as many opponents against Brock Lesnar to make sure that title at least goes to one of them. So I'm saying Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. And for Braun Strowman, you want a big surprise? How about the person that Paige says that she picked in mind for AJ Styles is none other than Braun Strowman, who is now cashing in his money in the bank against AJ Styles at SummerSlam. That's my booking. Hashtag my
That'd be good, because I think Braun Strowman being Universal Champion, I think it's already, like, I can say it's run its course, but it's too late. They should have done that a while ago. I think if they do it now, it's just like, like people are not going to care as much. It's
what
too
if
late.
what if Michael? You just got me thinking here. What if the whole point of KO winning the briefcase is for him to go over to SmackDown? You know, he can always win the case and say, well, he doesn't want to deal with Lesnar. He's another giant that he just got over Strowman. So he's going to cash in on the winner of the AJ and Samoa Joe match.
That's going to be a brutal match. You could be right, because Samoa Joe is going to go all out. And
yeah,
you could
because
build it that way.
What are they really going to do with the belt on Joe besides more AJ matches? And AJ doesn't really need the belt right now, so why not do that? Why not, especially since it's the co-branded pay-per-views now? I think we might be onto something, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to bring up that is actually a good idea, because it is very weird that it was a by-brand pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, and only Raw won both Money in the Banks. It was very weird. So it would not go past me that one of the Alexa Bliss already cashed in, so it wouldn't surprise me if one person or Braun Strowman jumped over to SmackDown, or Kevin Owens if he wins.
At this point, they should be
that's
doing
a
the
good
cash in as soon as possible. In my opinion, they should just scrap the pay-per-view and just put the match at WrestleMania to open the card. I'd love for WrestleMania to have the Money in the Bank briefcase open the card every year. That'd be just it'd go hand in hand with WrestleMania. It'd be sick. They should do that.
Yeah, and it's easy. You have KO cash in, move to SmackDown, and you can still have Roman win and Braun be like, I'm not finished with you. Very easy. And then there you go. You have Braun and Roman on Raw, KO versus whoever on SmackDown.
So the next question by Datila: why are there only 4 teams competing in the tag team tournament? Whatever happened to the Colognes? And thoughts on New Day going over on Sanity? I think because there's only 4 relevant teams on SmackDown, for one. B, they don't care about the tag team division, period, on either show, clearly. So a tournament is just something to do because it's something to do. They have no creative plans behind it. They're just doing it. And New Day going over on Sandy, you have my opinion on NXT talents getting called up to the main roster. They lose faith at the door.
Yeah, the only saving grace for this whole tournament and the SummerSlam match was maybe we can have some fresh champions being Insanity. But now, anyone who wins that is going to be... It's just going to be the same thing over and over again. If the Usos win, okay, again. If New Day wins, okay, again. And the Bar was just tag champions for like a year and a half or something like that. It's just, why not build a new team with that had so much hype? They were lost. They could. Go ahead.
I can see it being useless, and the Bludgeon Brothers just end up retaining. So what the hell was the point of the tournament?
Yeah, this has pre-show written all over it, so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
I really hope, honestly, it's the Bar versus Bludgeon Brothers, because it's the only thing that's different. We've already seen the Bludgeon Brothers versus New Day. We've already seen Bludgeon Brothers versus Usos. I wanted to see Sanity versus Bludgeon Brothers, but it's just, I don't know. It's just desperate of WWE to say that, people love Usos versus New Day, so we're going to have them meet in the finals. It's the only way to get the ratings up is to give them a guaranteed match that will be good, which, I mean... This is so stupid. Sandy, I don't know what to say. Almas is probably going to be losing soon, guys. He's going to go on a downward slope. I have no trust in these NXT call-ups.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. It'll be Almas and Sin Cara versus Bludgeon Brothers for the tag team titles.
Oh yeah, 2 people who were just enemies suddenly best friends. That's main roster booking at its finest.
Bailey, Sasha.
I can't believe you watch that stuff.
I can't believe you don't watch this.
I've been a happier person ever since I stopped.
I'm sure you have.
Question.
That's not what the $1 billion. The $1 billion from Fox is.
Oh, the $1 billion. Yeah, no, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. The casual fans take up most of everything, but if they want to cater to them, go ahead. It sucks. They have so much talent in the main roster that they just don't use. To me, they're the ones that look like fools. The people who are the creative minds behind this, and the people who book the storytelling. It's garbage. They mainly focus on two guys, and they leave everyone else behind.
I do want to mention that, dude, the stock in the WWE is freaking going up like crazy, ironically. So many people have sold their stock, by the way. So, yeah.
Because the ratings are low, but how does the stock go up? I don't understand. Where are they getting this revenue from?
It's just a TV deal.
I saw someone make I saw someone make mention that they're like, well, they just got a shit ton of money from the TV deal, and Saudi Arabia probably gave them a shit ton of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And the first ever women's pay-per-view, it's got to mean something, and yeah, people kind of made jokes at the fact that Vince sold some of his stock to get money for the XFL, but if he had just held on to his stock, he would have made like double the money. So screw you, Vince. That's what you get.
Which is funny because Vince would have known about all this months ago. You know, it's not like he just started working on a Fox deal or he just thought about the women's pay-per-view. So how would you not say like, okay, I have all this stuff coming in. Let me hold off and triple my money.
Vince McMahon is the definition of insanity. I'm just saying. The guy is just insane. He shouldn't be booking the show anymore. He should get rid of his goons that book the show and the creative team. It's just out the door. Just get out of here.
Don't forget you're watching his show, NXT. So
actually, he has nothing to do with NXT. He doesn't even watch it.
It's the same company. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't matter. You can have the same company, but he controls Raw and SmackDown. It's Triple H at the helm. He's the one controlling NXT.
But it's a WWE show. Vince McMahon can just scrap it tomorrow if he wanted to. They lose money on NXT every year.
He doesn't
create any revenue. It doesn't matter. It's like saying okay,
he doesn't sit there and book NXT. He does none of it.
It's like saying, okay, I work at this McDonald's across the street, and I hate my manager, but this is the same manager across the street.
Are you telling me that I'm wrong? That he does not have anything to do with NXT? How are you telling me that I'm wrong? How?
Yes, he does because he owns it. It's his show. It can be Triple H's baby.
There's nothing to it. He could. Oh, that's like owning I'm trying to think. Owning a Burger King and then not actually doing anything. You have someone else in charge of it, and you don't do anything to it. You don't look to see how the employees are doing. You don't see how the finance is doing. You just have it there.
Let's just use that for an example, okay? So I work at a McDonald's on this side of the street, and there's a McDonald's on the other side of the street, and I hate the one I work at, so I want to go next door because they have air conditioning there. But they're both owned by the same owner. Who's laughing at the end of the day? You hate this place, so you transfer across the street, but it's the same owner.
I'm talking about the booking of the shows and the storytelling. It's not the same.
You can sit here and say I hate Vince and he's an idiot, and this and that, but
he is.
You're watching his show. You're watching, and
he owns the company. It's not his show. It's Triple H's show. He owns the company.
Well, based on your logic, I just want to say, come over and watch NXT, the McDonald's with the air conditioning.
No, I like my McDonald's hot and sweaty.
Yeah, have fun over there. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for episode 108 of The Lowdown Show right here on No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. Again, guys, go follow us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Spreaker. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and a comment, and we'll be in touch with you with a special gift from us from the podcast. You can also check out our live shows on Spreaker. It is a glorious podcast app available for all Android and Apple devices. Listen, chat with us live on the air and listen to all previous episodes of the podcast. We also have a YouTube channel if you're into YouTube, youtube.com/NHBWR. Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon for all upload updates that go right into your inbox. And guys, as always, I am your host, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I'm always joined right here on The Lowdown Show by my two co-hosts. Number one, he is the host that runs the West Coast, Hollywood, Michael Chow, and the main event, Monday Raja Brian. So,
Hashtag rehire Ellsworth.
Hashtag rehire Ellsworth. Guys, we are always reminding you to keep it on the lowdown.
Kick your sorry ass for what you gonna do. You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick your sorry ass out on the street. That what you got? Used to think you own the street. We're back to back and your ass is dead meat. Victory is sweet. Bring it on. Here's your receipt. Bring it on. What you gonna do about it? Bring it on. Is that what you got? Bring it on. What you gonna do about it? Bring it on. Gonna kick your sorry ass for what you gonna do.